Tonight on Film Junkee Live, The Flash comes out on digital tomorrow, so there's all these clips online and images of the crazy multiverse that was happening in the movie. Let's talk about that, and plus what you're going to get with the 4K Blu-ray. SAG-AFTRA strikes are happening, everything's happening, and Bob Iger needs to shut the F up. Christopher Nolan has been giving interviews about Oppenheimer, but naturally, people have asked him other things. We're going to talk about those answers. Box office, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Maybe didn't make exactly the splash that we wanted it to, but it might have some international legs or wings, you know, because Tom Cruise fly. Anyways, all that and so much more tonight on Film Junkee Live. Do I look a little darker, tanner? It's at the lake this weekend. That's right. Just don't pat me on the shoulders.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Well, hello, everybody. Turn that down. There we go. What is happening? Ladies and gents, welcome to Film Junkee Live. It is, what is it, July 17th. That's right, we're already more than halfway through this month. Crazy, crazy. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys had a good weekend and everything. But yes, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Become a member. We always do a members only stream, you know, where I can maybe, you know, talk a little bit more candidly when it comes to that after every Wednesday stream. So do that, but make sure you're subscribed, hit that little notification bell, and of course follow me on all the suck meds that are around me. All of it around me. How we doing here? We doing okay, huh? We doing good out there? Let's see who's out there. All right. We got that guy Bert. What's up, Dave? Do you think we will see Booster Gold reference Blue Beetle? I would hope so. What's going on, Miss Jackson? Seeing these people on Twitter being so excited to finally see The Flash on streaming makes me livid. I wish they had taken their shallow, lazy, judgmental butts to a movie theater instead. Woo! Already coming in hot, Miss Jackson. Coming in hot. What's going on, Ryan? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. We got Mr. Hard-Boiled right here. What I'm eager to see is the friggin' deleted scenes and alternate. I can guarantee you will not see that alternate scene on there. Maybe deleted scenes, but I doubt they're going to put that alternate scene. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see that happening. To be honest, I really don't see that happening. But You never know, but I just don't think so. Niner fan, what is going on? We got Miss Mama Film Junkie right here. Hi, Mom. Good to see ya. How are you feeling when it comes to the sun? The sun on the skin, huh? What's going on, ACS? Mr. Anthony's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Always good to see ya. All right, who else we got here? Oh, 27 days till preseason. Watch out. God, I can't believe that. I mean, we're right in the middle of the baseball season, which the Giants game just got a weather delay. There's like a crazy storm happening in the Northeast. Because like over the weekend, some of the games got delayed, and they're playing in Cincinnati right now, and yep, they got delayed in the 8th inning. I don't know what the heck. It's tied. It's tied at 2. So I'm like, come on, this is an exciting game. Hopefully by the time that this stream ends, that'll be back. That'll be back, and I can watch the end of that. So, all right, who else we got? Don't mess with Nanny Fine. There you go. All right, so we got Mr. MSGT. Good to see you. What's going on, Mind of Inception? Good to see you, too. All right, we got Tet. What is happening? We got Mr. Axel right here. What up? What's going on, sir? Mr. Venom, good to see you. Okay, let's see. Up. Jumped up on me. We got Brendan right here. Good morning. Oh, good morning. Good morning to you, sir. That's cool. It always trips me out. Game Savior. They are saving the origin story for the Supergirl movie. I mean, I guess so. Should be, you know. MI7 came out a week ago with worldwide fan screening starting last preview screening starting Tuesday, and it officially releasing on Wednesday. So naturally, the box office is less. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, of course. So. Jeff, what's going on? That's dumb to blame fans for the fact that streaming is a viable alternative to throwing money at a theater. I mean, that's the thing. That's one of the things, too, that, you know, when it comes to, we're just in a new era. We're in a new era. It's gonna be a feat if a movie makes $1 billion. That's for damn sure. Nowadays. Especially when there's so many blockbusters or everything like that. So yeah, but we're going to be talking about a lot of Flash stuff because obviously the digital, you could digital download it tomorrow. So a lot of promos, and then of course there's already people that are already ripping the digital stuff. So I've been seeing scenes and clear pictures. That's right, actual clear images of the Flash. No, not these screenshots, these freaking bootleg piece of shit photos that were coming out that got leaked out the week of. We're actually seeing clear stuff, and some people are like, wow, that doesn't look that bad. It's like, yeah, we try to tell you. It's not all that bad, okay? It's not perfect, but it's not bad. That's what we try to tell you. So we'll talk about that and talk about, you know, the multiverse cameos and everything like that, you know. Just was thought, why not just talk about that? Because a lot of people were throwing around the cameos and whatnot, so I figured why not do that. And then we'll, of course, talk about the SAG-AFTRA and the writer's strike and all that stuff. I mean, I'm not an expert at it, but man, there's some things that just kept coming out like every day, kept coming out about this whole thing. And, you know, some CEOs need to shut the fuck up. You know who we're talking about, Bobby boy. You know, I'm talking to you. Christopher Nolan, of course, talking about Oppenheimer, which is great, but he's also been asked some other questions when it comes to other things that he wants to do. So we'll talk about those answers. And then, of course, the box office. Mission Impossible, you know? Hopefully you guys saw it. It's a really great film. Just saying. But, yeah, I did go to Lake Havasu over the weekend. Family thing. Not the best reason to get together because it had to do with scattering ashes of my cousin. And, you know, I think I've mentioned I raised a glass to him on a vodka stream or something like that because it happened a while ago, but we decided to scatter the ashes, and but it was still good to just get the family together at the river, Lake Havasu, which is always fun. But yeah, I'm actually not that burned, to be honest. I think I got a little bit, of course, on the shoulders. I'm actually not that bad because you know what I did, guys? I prepped because now that it's getting warmer, I would, at about like between 10 and 11 o'clock, I take a break and I go out on my balcony shirtless and just kind of go like Superman, you know, just get some of that vitamin dizzle, you know. So I already had like a good like base tan going. You know, I stand out there for about 10, 15 minutes and just get some of that sunlight because it's good for you. I think my neighbors probably think I'm insane because I'm like standing out there like this, like, no, okay, I don't make that face, but I'm like standing out there just kind of like, in a meditative, let me get away from the screens and whatnot and whatever. So I just kind of like absorb. It's good. But yeah, so then, when it came to just being out there on the lake, in the river, I was careful, put the sunscreen on, and then when I wasn't swimming around, I was underneath like the little tarp thing, so got some shade because it was so freaking hot. It got up to 120 degrees, man. There's a heat wave happening. I'm sure you guys know this, but it was 120 degrees. But luckily, the Airbnb we stayed at was great, and it had a pool, and it was fun. So it was a good weekend, even though, like I said, wasn't the best reason to come together. But it was good to see the family and celebrate. It was celebrating a life of someone in the way that we did. So may Chris rest in peace and everything. So, anyways, guys. Talking about based hands, yeah, that's right. This is what you get with Film Junkee Live. Just saying, that's what you get. Talking about based hands and whatever. What's going on, Stephanie T? She showed up. All right, so here we go. Let's get to the tweets. Luckily, I didn't tweet that much this past weekend, so that's a good thing, right? So we can blow through these real quick, and we're gonna start off with Johnny Cage. What? There he is. Okay, Mr. Ed Boon. Here's Johnny. Taking a picture with Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. I still don't know about this casting. I'm still not a fan of it. As much as I love Carl Urban, and I do love the character of Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat, I just don't think he's like the right fit. But I'm guessing they're just going for like an interest. I don't know. We'll see. I hope it impresses, but this is an image of him. We get more of a look at his Johnny Cage. He's actually wearing the sunglasses. You got the hair that's got some highlights in it. So, I mean, obviously we're getting to, this is an aged Johnny Cage. It's an aged Johnny Cage. I mean, obviously the Johnny Cage story was always, he's a burnt out action star. He's not at the top of his game. He's no longer like the big shot. So he's got to prove himself. So he joins the tournament. The Mortal Kombat tournament, but they're going even further because, I mean, Carl Urban's like what? He's like late 40s, early 50s? He's something around there, late 40s, early 50s. So it's almost like, okay, they're going like an interesting route when it comes to Johnny Cage. And, Johnny Cage is the American. He's the American hero in Mortal Kombat, the American fighter. So let's get what? He's New Zealand? Let's get a guy who's, not even from America. Why not? It's like, I think he's from New Zealand, right? Not Australia. I always thought he was like an Aussie, but I think he's New Zealand. So, but it's Carl Urban, okay. But of course, I'm a little worried about this movie because the first one had some strong parts, but the core of the whole thing was just like, ugh. It's like, ugh. That movie, man, they should have just did the entire movie about Sub-Zero and Scorpion. That's it. That's the parts that worked. And naturally, with the strike happening, Mortal Kombat 2 is no longer in production right now, or it's stopped production until the strike is resolved. So, anyway, Zealander, okay. Pretty, the James Webb Telescope taking pictures of these beautiful planets. I mean, I guess Jupiter is not orange like we all thought. Jesus Christ. Jupiter looks way different with a much clearer telescope. And look at all the illumination. Creepy. Cool, but creepy a little bit, right? Pretty cool. And I didn't sign up for this, guys. I didn't know there was going to be a Mr. and Mrs. Smith remake with Donald Glover and Maya Erskine. There's a trailer, too. Trailer didn't even grab me. I'm sorry, but I just don't see this working. And of course, it's just like, I was like, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Amazing movie. I love that movie. I love that movie. It's a fun action romp, and their chemistry was great. I mean, naturally, they ended up getting together and getting married and adopting and having babies after that. Of course, it ended badly, but that's the way it is in Hollywood. But I mean, I just don't see this really working that well. I like Donald Glover. I don't really know her, but I just don't see it working. It's a series. That's right. It's a series. New series. I just, again, it's like the True Lies series. The True Lies series didn't work because True Lies was about Arnold Schwarzenegger's character lying to his wife, and then she finds out, and that was the cusp of the whole story. You can't have an entire series when the first episode, he reveals that he's a spy. So I'm assuming that, I don't know if they're going to build it up. Are they just building it up through, like, this series that they're both assassins, and then they slowly find out? It's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous. It just doesn't seem like, it just doesn't... I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Phil Cho bringing out some cool art right there. There's some Nightwing from Titan series, a little bit different with the gold on there. We got a new poster, which makes me want pizza. I don't think that's Pizza Hut. Remember when they showed that promo for Pizza Hut? Yeah, this one ain't Pizza Hut. This one just says New York. Yeah, that's right. Remember I was making my whole gripe that even if you live in New York, even if you live in New York in the sewer, you ain't going to be ordering Pizza Hut. You're going to order some authentic New York pizza. Ryan Reynolds, comic accurate short king, posted that right there. Of course, Deadpool 3 has stopped production as well. Cameron Monaghan, I guess he's not going to be Jimmy Olsen because he's joining Tron Ares. That's right, the third Tron movie with Jared Leto. So remember, I was fan casting him as Jimmy. And sorry, folks, if anybody was wondering why there was cocaine in the White House, well, apparently the Secret Service, they are not going to figure it out. That's what they posted. I mean, I think we can all figure out who did it if you're keeping up with certain events. But yeah. This simulation that we live in is incredible. Cocaine found at the White House. We know that the president's son is a huge cokehead. I think we could point the finger at him. But guess what? Didn't happen. They're just like, yep, we're just going to drop it. It's fine. It's crazy. Oh, man. Something tells me, though, if it was Don Jr., they probably would have been all over that. Anyways. We got this right here. We got Mr. Ben Everts, Real Anarchy. He posted this right here of Daniel Craig as Brainiac. This is creepy. Taking the cyborg approach to Brainiac. Thought it was pretty interesting. Doing some of that AI stuff right there. And then we got a teaser for Harley Quinn Season 4, which is cool. And then, yeah, guys, if, again, if you guys are wondering why I pay the $8 a month for Twitter Blue, and I've been saying that they're trying to make it like a creator friendly website, rival YouTube and all the others. Well, I mean, they started giving out some Twitter ad revenue, and they were sharing like 5 million in ad revenue went out already, and the Minds channel got $107,000. Crazy. So that was happening over the weekend. But yeah, that's why I'm investing in that. So maybe I can get in that. But there is some qualifications that I still need to do to get that Twitter partnership. But yeah, they're doing all that. It's pretty freaking crazy. Hey, there's Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise enjoying the fact that they worked on this movie for 5 years. We have worked and filmed this film for years. Oh, I thought he said 5 years, but it's probably a little bit less. But hey, we hope they enjoy it. Of course, they're doing that. The popcorn thing. Always got to have that popcorn. Size matters. We got the reel for IMAX Oppenheimer right there. That's cool. Speaking of AI, did AI make this poster right here? My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. What is going on with the faces in this poster? What is going on with everybody? This looks like it was made by AI. I mean, what the hell is going on with some of these faces? Oh, my God. And, my God, they're making... I didn't know there was a My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. I thought there was only one. I know my mom liked the first one. I think I watched it with her maybe one time. I don't know, a long time ago, but... Wow, it just looked kind of strange to me, I'm just saying. But you know what doesn't look strange? This right here, look at that. Who wants to, come on, let's bring up some super chats. You want to go in on it with me, you know, to get this little Queen Studio black suit Superman statue right here, you know? Just saying. Anybody wants to go in on it, you know, we could send it back and forth to each other if you want to do that. So, you know, why not? All right, what else we got here? Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to love this, guys, because, you know, I tweeted this out, released the Ayer cut. It was trending. the other day, last week. It was trending, so I thought, you know what? Hey, release the Ayer cut is trending. I think a lot of people have been saying that since Hollywood is kind of shut down as of right now, why not put it out there? You know, seems reasonable. Same with the Schumacher cut. You could do that as well. But, you know, I got to love it when, my fans, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, this one guy said, his name is Neil. He said, fuck off, Dave. You of all people shouldn't be saying this. Me of all people, guys. That's right, because I try to sabotage release the Snyder Cut so much that the man himself that has the name within that repeatedly came onto the stream. I know, but that was part of my diabolical plan, was to sabotage by bringing Zach on my stream and somehow utilizing that to be like, trust me, guys, Zach trusts me, so trust me. And then, you know, try to sabotage the Snyder Cut campaign, even though it did come out. All right. Yeah. So it's just kind of funny. Yeah. You got to love that. I was feeling frisky. Somebody sent this to me and I was like, all right, I'll retweet it. And, so I did. That's why I did. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Hey, what could he do? You know, this guy right here, he said that I have a punchable face and personality, but even a broken clock is right twice. That's right. I'm sure this person right here is, you know, he trusts the Scoopsy Daisies over there who have a not so great batting average. And I'm not trying to be a scooper when it comes to things, but, you know, it's just always kind of funny. When it comes to all that, you gotta love that. And oh my God, guys, oh my God. All right, can the Disc Father guy, okay, so Disc Father, I don't know if you're gonna, who knows? I know he follows me. I don't know if he still follows me. Does he still follow me? He follows me. I don't follow him because I don't know what was going on with this guy, because I remember 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was 4th of July week. He claimed that he had a podcast that with Henry Cavill, and claimed that Henry Cavill said that he prefers Justice League over Zack Snyder's Justice League. He tweeted it out there, of course, naturally, got dogpiled on. Everybody was talking about it and everything like that. And then, of course, he claimed that he couldn't post the podcast because of copyright or something like that. Somebody was telling me it was bullshit. He was trying to rile up fans. This is what he was doing just to, the engagement. This is why I always say you don't have to always jump on every little thing, because somebody is just banking on that. Especially now with the whole Twitter payout thing, the more impressions you get and the more, clicks and engagement you get, sometimes somebody's going to end up getting paid for this, and I'm thinking that's what some of these guys are going to do. But for some reason, Disc Father knows that he could rile up the Snyder fandom. Definitely could do that. And what was happening last week was some people, of course, in the Snyder fandom was saying that yes, that the first trailer for the Snyder Cut with Hallelujah on it got removed from YouTube. Or not removed, but they put it in private, apparently. And so naturally, of course, people who were just very, that take this shit way too seriously were freaking out and saying all this stuff. And then, of course, Mr. Disc Father right here was like, all right, I'm going to capitalize on this because obviously he wants the engagement on his tweets. So he said, I'm hearing after yesterday's trailer deletion from YouTube, Warner Brothers Discovery plans to remove Zack Snyder's Justice League from Max. And then we got Mr. Rob Keyes right here. Of course, he's been on the Vodka stream, and he is, the head cheese, one of the head cheeses over there at Screen Rant. He said, I heard via phone call and then in writing via email with Mac's team that the first Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer was set to private due to music licensing, and that's why the other two are still live on the very same YouTube channel. Yeah, it's all about the Hallelujah song. This happened shortly after the teaser or the trailer got released. That happened too, and everybody was freaking out then too. Like, Warner Brothers trying to sabotage. Like, nope, it's all a licensing thing. Now, I'm kind of wondering why exactly that song is always causing problems for that, but I don't know. I don't know the logistics. I don't claim to know the logistics when it comes to all that. But of course, fans they go by emotions. So then naturally, it's Warner Brothers trying to sabotage shit. And then when it comes to the removal the claim that there was going to be the removal of Zack Snyder's Justice League from Max. Apparently, like in certain Europe HBO apps, it's gotten removed. It's still very much on Max. And then, of course, naturally, people were getting outraged on that. And I tweeted out, like, why do people... There's so many things to get outraged about. Why do people choose to get outraged over fake shit? That's my question. Can you stop? There's so many things you can get outraged about. Why are you getting outraged over fake shit? Because people were like, yep, they're going to remove it from Max. Oh my God. And even if they do, how the fuck, if you're a fan, how do you not have it in physical form yet? Because yes, when it comes to streaming, guess what? They remove shit all the time. Okay? There's not some conspiracy that, oh yeah, they're just like that. They don't want the Snyder Cut anymore. They hate Zack Snyder, so they're going to remove it. It's been on there for over 2 years. I would not, if it ends up getting removed, fine. I have it physical. You should too. I thought a lot of these people like got rid of HBO Max after they got it on physical. There's not some conspiracy here, folks. Not some conspiracy here. It's so ridiculous. Let's not freak out about that, but you know, that's what we like to do, right? James Cameron. He says, I don't respond to offensive rumors in the media usually, but I need to now. I'm not in talks about an Ocean Gate film, nor will I ever be. I thought that was kind of funny, that quote, because even if he was going to make a film on Ocean Gate, guess what? It would probably make about $1.3 billion and get nominated for like 13 Oscars. But yeah, I mean, the guy's making Avatar everything. So he's making so many Avatar things, And then Tom Cruise said he refused to end Mission Impossible, of course, Dead Reckoning Part 1 on a cliffhanger. He goes, you know, it's got to be satisfying. So he wanted to go a little satisfying because we've had some cliffhangers that happen. Fast X, Across the Spider-Verse. But, you know, that could be satisfying, too. I like a good cliffhanger. And both of those had, well, Fast X was like, all right, cool, it's going to continue on. We'll see what happens. Across the Spider-Verse had a great, fantastic cliffhanger. I can understand that because, you know, Dead Reckoning didn't have a cliffhanger. But it was like, it's still like, oh, okay, we still have more to the story, so. And what the hell is this? This is why all the crazy strikes and all the stuff and all the freaking money, the cash flow problems when it comes to these companies and streaming, this is why right here. These budgets are too goddamn big. $212 million for Secret Invasion. Did half of it go to Samuel L. Jackson? And if it did, cool. Get your money, man. Because it doesn't seem like it. 212? I mean, I get it. It's like a long movie, and they're in a lot of like different locations, and yeah, there's action and explosions, and there's makeup with all the scrolls, and when they transition from human to scroll, sure, you have those VFX and all the super scroll stuff and what's happening. But 212? This is why. This is exactly why we're in where we're at right now. This is what's happening. These budgets are way too big. They're too inflated. Too much, just way too inflated. And of course, you know, one of the things, I mean, obviously we're going to be talking about, you know, certain things that Bob Iger said, but at least he did say that, yes, they're going to start relaxing on so many shows because during the pandemic, and the pandemic didn't help, they were trying to pump out as much shows as possible, and we saw bad quality. We saw just poor quality when it came to certain shows. It was like, yeah, certain things were good, but a lot of things were bad, and there was way too much that was being pumped out. Way too much being pumped out. It's like Kenobi, decent, could have been, you know, but it just felt like there was, you know, didn't have the money. But then you have Andor. That seemed like it was perfect, and it was like a little hidden gem. And then you have She-Hulk. What was going on there? But then you had Miss Marvel, which felt like it was fresh and new and different when it came to these shows. But, you know, and I'm enjoying Secret Invasion, but my God, 212, holy shiza, man. That is absolutely ridiculous. But this is why these companies, these studios are in the predicament that they're in right now because these budgets are too freaking high, man. Too high. You need to cut down the budgets. You need to cut some salaries in half and pay people. Boy. Patrick Wilson, he knows what's up, and we've all been saying this for so long. We've been saying this, and I still keep on saying it. I even say this now when it comes to what's happening with Superman Legacy and James Gunn and having different DC characters within the story that's going to help the character, or help the story. Yeah, help the character and help the story, help tell the story of the character, because when it comes to Superman Legacy, yeah, he's going to have the Superman aspect with metahumans, which is great. And it's just like when it came to BVS, it's like, yeah, it could have just been a Superman sequel where he faced another Superman villain, but no, he's going to face Batman. Cool. All right, well, let's have Wonder Woman in a supporting role. That works. And then we're going to introduce other characters to expand the universe. Totally worked. Zack Snyder, ahead of his time. He didn't exactly do what Marvel was doing when it came to crossovers, and sometimes it just gets a little too bulky and then you just, or, you know, a little too cluttered, and then it's just like they're just setting up the next movie. But when it came to Zack, you know, again, Zack, ahead of his time. Patrick Wilson even says right there, he says Zack was ahead of the curve. I say time, he says curve, tomato, tomato. You need movies to go so dark, and then Avengers can go so light. Perfectly said right there. He said that to Real Blend. Perfectly said. I want my dark movies. I want my dark superhero movies. Variety. I want the BVSs, the Watchmens, the Logans. I want that. You got to have that. And then I'm okay with going to an Avengers movie or something lighter. Sure. I'm okay with that. But see, that's what we're talking about. So good on him. Good on him. Good on him for saying that right there. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. What's going on? Yeah, you see a blurry image? Yeah, try refreshing, Lisa. And hi, Steph. How's it going? Miss Nighthawk is here. She was part of the pretty awesome weekend, right, that we had at the lake. And then, yes, this is another thing, just to add to it, just to add to what I was talking about when it comes to bloated budgets. Right here from the Wall Street Journal, Disney has reportedly promised investors for nearly 3 years that Disney Plus would be profitable by September 2024. Some Disney executives have now expressed doubts about whether the company can hit that target. Disney Plus ain't profitable. The cash flow is not there. Same thing is happening with Netflix. Same thing is happening with Max and all the others. I mean, probably some are doing better than others. Your Primes, your Hulus, those are probably doing a little bit better, but they're not. That's the thing. That's why we're going to start seeing these shows show up on normal TV, which there is something that about a popular TV show that we'll get to in a little bit that shows just that. There's going to be Marvel shows and Star Wars shows that are going to show up on ABC because they're like not getting the money that they thought they were going to be getting when it came to streaming services. There's all the Bruce Waynes right there. Yes, all been great. All great. Even George Clooney. George Clooney was a better Bruce Wayne than Batman. I would even say that about Val Kilmer, but I like Val Kilmer's Batman. But they've all been good Bruce Waynes. Different in their own regards. Gotta love that. Michael Keaton's Batman art right there. Minimal. Love that. Love that. More Michael Keaton art right there. Look at that. The GOAT with the 89 logo. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. I love this too. Somebody made this. This is freaking excellent right here. Did you guys see this? Tech Fighter Turbo. Insert crypto. That's beautiful. Obviously Zuck, Bezos, Bezos and Elon right there. It's pretty funny. Come on. Again, the internet wins when Epstein Island. It's so ridiculous. But yes, or Mars. But this is where the internet wins right there. So freaking cool. It's got all the big CEOs, the tech CEOs. That is hilarious. Come on, you gotta love that. You gotta love that. Hey, did you guys know that Snow White's still a thing? And Rachel Zegler commented that, yeah, the nonsensical discourse on social media about Snow White casting. I haven't seen the discourse in a while because nobody gives a shit, Rachel. Nobody gives a shit. Movie's probably not going to do well. Just saying. Okay. That's all I got to say about that. I know she's called me out before, so. Until she starts making movies like how Tom Cruise. Look at this. These guys were just recording and saw them. They were filming Dead Reckoning, and they're just chilling. This is just Tom Cruise chilling. They're all just chilling on top, and there's Tom Cruise right there, and he's like, he sees it, and he waves. That's freaking amazing. Come on, that's really cool right there. That's really cool. So is this Adam West art right there. That's pretty sweet too. All right, and this is funny as well. Come on. What? What is this? Get out of here. This Nathan Fillion. That's just laughable right there. That look. Oh man, I mean, he looks like a lesbian that likes to wear green. I'm just saying, that's what he looks like, girl. Yeah, Jesus, yeah. This is from Smart Sheep Art. They made this right here. I think we should really go for the big collar leather jacket kind of thing, but yeah, that is just that's just hilarious right there. It made me laugh. It made me laugh. And then we got Phil Cho showing the whole Bat family, the Adam West 66 Bat family right there. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Haley Atwell. Well, if you guys watched Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, I mean, she really shines in that movie. She does. She does, especially the things that happen in that movie. And I apologize, guys. I was going to do a full-on review of that, but sadly, I didn't check the mic. And it wasn't on when I recorded it, did not know until the next day, and did not have time to re-record it because, of course, I was leaving for the weekend. But Haley Atwell talked about her cameo in Multiverse of Madness, of course, as that version, well, Captain Britain, I guess you could say. When she says, I could do this all day, people were like, haha, but you didn't because you got sliced in half by a Frisbee. So basically, she's complaining that the cameo that was really weird and really ridiculous, even talked about how John Krasinski was not actually there. He filmed his cameo in front of a green screen and they just inserted him into the scenes, which I think we all kind of guessed that was the case. But she's complaining that all happened. And I get it because a lot of people were also complaining about all these crazy, the cameos. Speaking of multiverse, they were all, people were complaining that they weren't on there and they all just died. I thought that was brilliant. I'm a Sam Raimi fan and I was like, yeah, get everybody excited about all these cameos that show up. So everybody's like, yes, oh my God, yes. And everybody's like cheering anytime one of these cameos shows up. And then I just love the fact that they all got killed. That's some Sam Raimi-isms right there. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So I have to disagree with her. She kicks ass. I love her character in Mission Impossible. She's great. I was crushing on her a little bit. And I think she's going to be, it's going to be cool to see her character evolve in the second part and kind of see where it goes from there. But yeah, it's like you have to just enjoy the fact that it's like, yeah, it was kind of cool that all these cameos showed up and they all got killed. I thought it was great. I thought it was cool. Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. Bold. It was absolutely bold to do that. We'll talk about that. See, this is okay. And this is what I'm talking about here, folks. Yellowstone, one of the most popular series out there. It's on Paramount, the Paramount Channel, and Paramount Plus. Now look what's going to be happening. Yellowstone is set to make its broadcast debut as part of CBS's fall lineup. Well, I think part of the reason is they need shows because with things that are happening when it comes to entertainment into the Hollywood world, things are lacking. So they're like, all right, well, there's the older demographic, the way older demographic probably doesn't have Paramount or Paramount Plus. So let's put it on CBS. And like I was saying with Disney, they're going to put like Mandalorian, Miss Marvel. Those shows are going to show up on ABC because they're thinking, all right, maybe we should go back to the old ways. Streaming is not giving us the cash flow that we wanted, even though it's probably still got a pretty good cash flow, but, these CEOs make too much damn money. So they're going to have to edit it. I haven't really watched the show, but I know it's pretty damn adult, and there's been some things they're definitely going to have to edit down, but Jesus Christ, it's ridiculous. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. They're like looking at the old ways of how these shows were actually put out there and putting them on the broadcast channels. It's all crazy. That's what happens. And who knows if this is true? Take it with a grain of salt, but Kenneth Branagh is going to direct the Gargoyles movie? Some people are saying that it might be BS. I don't know. The Diz Insider is claiming that, yes, he's going to be directing the Gargoyles live-action movie. I was like, okay, pretty interesting. It's an interesting choice. He's a great director. Why not? But, we're going to have to wait on that. And David Duchovny. Got to love David Duchovny. He showed up to the writer's strike with the residuals are out there, and of course put a UFO. Apparently he got screwed over by Fox when it came to residuals on repeats, reruns of X-Files. So he knows he's gotten screwed out of residuals as well. So, it happens. And then check this out. We got Arkham Batfleck right here that somebody made. That's badass. Now that's a suit, right? He should have been wearing that suit in The Flash, am I right? Okay. But that's a pretty badass suit right there. Just saying. And when did this come out? When? I didn't hear about this. When the hell was there a rumor that Daniel Craig was going to be Lex Luthor? I didn't see this rumor, but apparently this rumor was out there, and James Gunn debunked it. Did anybody else hear about this rumor? I didn't hear about this rumor, but at the same time, I started going, well, I can maybe see that a little bit. I can. I don't know. He's too old. Okay. So we got, Draga, he's a ageist. Put that suit in the movie. That suit? Which suit? But yeah, I didn't think about it. I was like, oh, okay, that'd be interesting. I'm not saying that, obviously James Gunn debunked that he's going to be cast as Lex Luthor. He also said, because somebody asked if his wife's going to be in it as Harcourt. He said no, which is like, yeah, of course, that's not going to make sense. She might have a role in the movie as somebody else. I wouldn't be surprised, but that's perfectly fine, whatever. But yeah, so I didn't realize that this was actually a rumor, but then I was kind of like, I could kind of see it a little bit. I was like, all right, I wouldn't hate it. I would not hate it if he ended up being Luthor. I would not hate it at all. So, I don't know. I don't know where that rumor came from, but it's been debunked. So don't have to worry about it. And I don't know. I don't know when we're going to get that Lex casting. We can't get any casting news until the strike's over, apparently. So unless something happens, who knows? But there you go. All right. And that's it right there, guys. I was hoping that wasn't going to be as long as, I was trying to cut it short. But yeah, I talk too much. What can I say, guys? I talk too much. All right. Let me turn that off. And let's talk about the main topic right here. All right. So, let's talk about The Flash. Digital download. You can download it tomorrow if you want to, and then watch it and everything and own it digitally. We have, of course, some promo stuff that's been put out there, and I'm going to bring up this right here from The Flash Film News. So, we got the promo right here. It's a small promo.
Remember when you phased through the floor? Yeah. So, I need you to do that again. Iron is denser than floorboard.
There you go.
You phase through the...
Yeah, so there's the promo right there when it comes to The Flash. But, yeah, so they're going to have that. And then, of course, they're going to have this right here. When it comes to the 4K, UHD, of course, that's going to be coming out. I'm not sure when it's coming out. I don't think it's coming out tomorrow, but I think you're going to get some features, some of these features also with the digital download. But this is what you can have right here, is they're going to show the Making of the Flash, Worlds Collide featurette, Flashpoint introducing the Multiverse featurette, Let's Get Nuts, Batman Returns Again featurette, the Bat Chase, which of course that's going to be the Batfleck one, Saving Supergirl featurette as well, Battling Zod featurette, and then Fighting Dark Flash featurette, and then The Flash, the Saga of the Scarlet Speedster featurette, Supergirl, Last Daughter of Krypton featurette, and then of course deleted scenes. And they released a deleted scene online actually that we're not gonna show it all, but it was out there. It did come out, as you can see the scene right here where young Barry, he finds the craft, because I don't know, I just don't want to get dinged by Warner Brothers, because you know how they could be. But he phases through the door right here, and then look at that shot. That is a cool shot. Look at that. It's a badass shot right there. Finding the S right there in the ship and everything. So that's pretty sweet. I just really enjoyed that. When we saw this too, we saw this shot right here from the fandom trailer, and everybody hated it. Everybody hated this shot right here, of course. Looks a little different. Doesn't look quite like, I mean, when it came to the fandom teaser, it actually looked like the helmet, or, the cowl was bigger on his head. But, I don't know, maybe it was supposed to be because it's young Barry. Anyways, but he's finding the costume, Supergirl's costume, and then he brings it out, and they're all kind of like wondering, like, wait a minute, he's like, I found Superman's costume, so here we go. And then he goes, was Superman petite? And that's where it ends right there. But, pretty interesting, pretty damn interesting. But, I could see why they deleted, but I just really like that one shot. I just really like that one shot. And all I'm saying, folks, now that we can just really talk about this and show this because it's all out there like crazy, we need a comic book run, or we need an animated feature with Nicolas Cage's Superman, okay? I'm going to campaign for this as well, as much as I'm campaigning for anything else too that I want to see, but I'm campaigning for this. Yes, I know some people are still like, oh, it looks horrible, it looks so, okay, get over that. I just want a Nicolas Cage comic book run or an animated feature. I prefer animated. Yes, I know there was a fan animated thing that I talked about a while ago that used like some really cool animation. Hopefully that maybe could turn into something. It's only a trailer, but I'm just saying, DC, Jim Lee, Kevin Smith can be a part of it too. I'm sure he would not mind being a part of that. But hey, let's get some of this. Let's get this. Let's get it out there. I'm disagreeing with you, Stephanie. I don't, you don't have to watch it, but we will, and we will love it. What's interesting about the S, about Nicolas Cage's Superman S, first off, I like the fact that he's got his chest hair coming out of this thing, but his S looks like this like almost like an arrow. It almost looks like an arrow, and it's a big S. That's right, he's got a big S. Look at the S on that guy. Now it's a big S, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, how big is the S going to be on David Cornsweat's Superman costume? But yeah, there's the shot right there. Obviously, he faces the big, huge spider, and it was basically a callback. Not the general audience had no idea what the hell was going on, but of course, us nerd boys and girls were like, yes, absolutely. But I mean, that's what was so crazy about it. I mean, and it was shown right after Christopher Reeve's Superman, Right there, of course, we get the shot of those two right there. Which, of course, a lot of people hated this even more because, oh my God, how do you do that? Is that, it's like, it's that whole thing. And it's like, I get the complaints because it's like, okay, he's not alive anymore, but obviously they ran it through the Reeve estate and got their approval. It's not like they just did it or whatever. But you know, we didn't really see them together at one point. Chris Wong Swenson brought up a good point that Superman was only teased in Supergirl. I mean, Clark was in there, but all you saw really was that shot. You didn't really see Superman in Supergirl. You only saw Clark. Or did you actually even see Clark? I think Clark had a cameo. But I can't remember. I haven't seen Supergirl in so long. But, I mean, yeah. It feels soulless. See, I mean, it's funny because now the people who were like loosely going, it was okay. Now those people are saying that they just absolutely hate the movie. If Christopher Reeve's family signed off, I don't know what's the damn issue. I don't know what's the issue either. You know, I mean, it got cheers both the times that I saw it and everything. But again, we're seeing the multiverse, the projected Speed Force multiverse that's happening in the Dome. That's happening in the what's it called again? Jeez, I'm totally drawing a blank on what's it called. What's that called? The Chrono Bowl. That's right. We're seeing like we're seeing like things that are being projected within the Speed Force, which is why it all looks like the way it looks. It was a style choice. Did it work for people? Apparently not. But, you know, it was that kind of style choice when it came to all that. But and then of course people were posting scenes. The bat chase right there, which I thought was cool. Andy Muschietti's cameo was cool. And look at the dark flash. Yeah, there's some dark flash right there. Some Batfleck right there doing his best Deadpool impression. We got, the cameo from Wonder Woman right there. Here's all the cameos that were in there, of course. Thomas Curry. We got the George Reeves Superman. Nick Cage. Teddy Sears as Jake Garrick, which he had no idea about, which is interesting, you know. So all the cameos right there when it comes to that, you know, and a lot of people are posting that. They're posting the George Clooney one, which, you know, I'm just kind of wondering. I'm like, all right, so when it came to this cameo, as much as I was okay with it, I was one of the people that I liked the cameo. I had a feeling it was coming. I was like, all right, that's a gag. It's all a gag. I get that. I'm just kind of wondering, is he actually still Batman, or is he just Bruce Wayne? Is he still Batman? I mean, does Batman have a beard now? I mean, like, with this whole, like, spaghetti crossover of the multiverse, does he have a beard now? That's what I'm kind of wondering. Is this Batman, like, still Batman? I mean, obviously, he's younger than Michael Keaton. He's about 10 years younger than Michael Keaton, at least, or, like, 9 years younger. But, you know, they both have aged pretty gracefully. But I'm just kind of wondering, like, okay, obviously it's just for the gag. I'm asking way too many questions about what's happening now. But I was just like, is he actually Batman still in here? So it's just kind of funny. Like, okay, that's pretty funny. You know, it's whatever. And, of course, people complaining about the whole, you know, the babies thing, the baby in the microwave. People, I love it. This is what I'm talking about. The fake outrage. You know, when it came to that whole thing. People are they get so out, they just go so, and here, of course, we got some cool shots of Keaton right here. The goats, look at that, showing that, I got hurt. So, we got some cool shots right there when it comes to all that. But no, talking about the fake outrage when it comes to all this, I'm like, how many times do I have to use the fictional characters, you know, drop? How many times do I have to use that? I wish I had it in hand right now. I don't think I have it. I wish I did, because it's fictional. Okay? It's like people like literally were like freaking out because when it came to that opening Flash sequence and him saving the babies, it was I dug the whole thing because I thought it was just so outrageous. I thought it was crazy and just like different. Yeah, the babies looked a little weird. I'll give it that. But the whole thing of like, oh yeah, oh my God, he put a baby in a microwave. It wasn't plugged in. Jesus. And it's not real. This just goes back to the whole Man of Steel thing, like, how many people died? Oh my God, so many people died. Superman didn't care about all the people dying. So then, of course, they had to like address that, and they had to make sure that people weren't going to freak out about damage when it came to them. I'm like, read a fucking comic book. This shit, it's all crazy. It's all whatever. It's just This is what I'm talking about when people want to just get outraged over dumb shit. Dumb shit. There's plenty of things you can get outraged from. Don't get outraged by a CGI baby in a microwave that is not plugged in. Okay? Can we not? Saying. You'll live a better life with that. All right. That's all my spiel about that. But yes, watch The Flash. I plan on watching again. I enjoyed it. I don't care. There's still people in my mentions that like to throw it that it flopped. Yes, it did flop. I'll agree with you on that. Sure. But hey, guess what? I could still enjoy it. Like I posted one of the shots that you see Supergirl show up back in the Batcave. It's a really cool shot. And I was like, that's a cool shot. And somebody was like, it flopped, Dave. I'm like, yeah, okay. It flopped. But I could still say things are cool. Right? Oh, the sad lives some of these people live. And the narcissism. SAG-AFTRA strikes. Oh, boy. So, Hollywood is just pretty much like shut down right now. We got the writer strike. We got the SAG-AFTRA strike. It is not looking good right now when it comes to Hollywood. It's not looking good at all. Hopefully the strike doesn't last too long. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, geez, what the hell am I going to talk about if there's not going to be any news? I mean, it's whatever. I'm not freaking out about me. But I will say, and I've seen this too, there are some YouTubers out there that were like freaking out and trying to figure out what they can actually talk about. Because when it comes to these actors, they can't do anything. They can't promote it. If they have a movie coming out, they can't talk about it. They can't go on podcasts. They can't be interviewed. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. And that's going to be interesting when it comes to late night. When it comes to late night talk shows, I didn't even think about that until right now. Late night talk shows must be just showing reruns like crazy or best ofs or whatever the heck, because they're not going to be able to have any actors show up to promote the movies that are coming out. And that sucks. That does suck for at least some of them. But I mean, obviously it's for a good cause because, yes, it is absolutely ridiculous. And it's funny, too, because I saw an article that said, like, all SAG-AFTRA wants when it comes to at least these lower paid actors. I'm not talking about the top tier actors. Those actors are doing just fine. I'm glad that they're supporting the other actors. They don't get paid anything, really. It is kind of funny. It's like when you see like George Clooney, you just be like, yeah, man, they need to get paid. Actors need to get paid more and stuff. I'm like, what's your net worth, George Clooney? I'm just kidding. I'm like, well, if you just take a little portion of your tequila and throw it down. Okay. Anyways, but no, I'm just saying that, yeah, it's obviously for a good cause. But, I'm just kind of wondering, like, when they can't go on talk shows, they can't go on anything to promote. And we still got movies coming out. And what sucks, too, is, like, when it comes to, let's see, Mr. Mariduana right here, who's going to be in Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle needs help. We need, and I'm looking forward to the movie. I was hoping it was going to be something. It was going to, I want it to be a little sleeper hit. It's got a small budget of like 120 million or something like that, or maybe less. So it doesn't need that much to make like a big splash. And I was just kind of hoping like, okay, let this movie be something. Let Jaime get up there. Come on, it's the half Mexican in me, that's all. But this is what he posted this right here, and he kind of feel bad for him, but obviously he's going to support what is happening when it comes to all these unions. But you do kind of feel bad because it's like this is a big role for him and he can't even promote it. But he posted this video here. We won't show the whole thing, but he did post a little bit right here.
Oye, friends, familia, Solo Maridueña here, Miguel Diaz Goracay, and soon to be your Blue Beetle on DC's Blue Beetle coming out August 18th. I'm making this video to address the recent news in the entertainment industry. If you haven't heard, the actors are striking. We're striking in solidarity. SAG is striking in solidarity with the writers. And
of course, he has that team on his head. Whatever. I won't hold it against him.
The issue gets resolved swiftly. And with that being said, it needs to be solved in the right way. And the people who are asking for the right to live and work and thrive in the business should be allowed to and should be able to. And because of that reason, I won't be able to promote the movie throughout the duration of this press junket.
Can't promote it.
So much great stuff aligned. And I really wish that we could get it to you guys, but we need to stand on the right side of history. And because of that, we're planting our feet in the ground. With that being said, this is a fantastic movie. And
this is still kind of promoting it though, right? Is he going against the rules here?
Fantastic to get to film my first movie for IMAX.
I think he posted this before it happened.
To work with such a phenomenal cast and crew, I cannot speak highly enough about our wonderful ensemble. I have to shout them out now if I don't get a chance to shout them out on the day of the premiere. How can I even start? Susan Sarandon, George Lopez, Elpidia Carrillo, Damian Alcazar, Bruna Marquezini, Belisa Escobedo, Raúl Max Trujillo. If I'm forgetting anyone, Elpidia Carrillo, Adriana Barraza, Harvey Guillen, every single person in front of the camera, behind the camera, our shepherd, our wonderful director, Angel Malo Soto. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for entrusting me with this role, and I'm so excited for everyone to be able to see it for the first time in the theaters. If you know of Blue Beetle, you're gonna love the movie, and if you don't know, he's gonna be your new favorite superhero.
So there you go. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but man, you just feel bad. You feel bad. It's like he rose in popularity when it came to Cobra Kai, and then he gets this role of a lifetime to play this character. Yeah, and it's, it helps that, it's like, hey, it's a Latino lead superhero, which, has been lacking. And so naturally it needs to get out there, and it's an interesting hero and everything like that, but you just feel bad because now he can't promote it. And they probably had all this promotional marketing that was going to be helping the movie out. So guys, I know some people are just like, nope, they're not going to see anything. They're not going to do anything. They think everything sucks. But I'm just saying, support the movie, man. Support the freaking movie. But Tom Cruise, he's trying to help. He's trying to do his part. If anybody's just thinking that Tom Cruise is just eating popcorn and whatever the hell, but he said Tom Cruise, this says right here, according to the Hollywood Reporter, it says Tom Cruise lobbied studios on SAG-AFTRA stunt and AI positions. So let's see right here. It says the Mission Impossible star urged SAG-AFTRA to consider allowing actors to promote films during a strike, given the delicate state of movie theaters. So Tom Cruise is just kind of going like, hey, this sucks. Like, hey, can we at least still promote your projects? I've seen some people out there who start patting themselves on the back, tweeting out, I just deleted all my streaming service because I'm supporting SAG-AFTRA and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, some of those people have projects that they want you to watch. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're doing here, but I've seen like tweets where people are like saying that they're deleting all their streaming services. They're not going to go see the new movies because of all this. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I mean, some of these actors, as much as they're supporting that, they still want you to go see their projects, their movies and TV shows. I don't know. It just seems like a little weird to me. So I'm kind of like, all right, Tom Cruise is trying to be like, hey guys, you still do that. How important is the AI issue to members of SAG-AFTRA? Yeah, that's right. I mean, the whole AI discussion, too, has been pretty crazy. And apparently there was like a proposal to have like extras and background actors and whatever the hell being generated by AI. I mean, Jesus Christ, that was a whole thing. I know Fran Drescher like went off when it came to her little speech when it came to all this. Important enough for Tom Cruise zoomed into a June negotiating session to urge the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers to hear out the Guild's concerns on the issue. According to the Hollywood Reporter, it wasn't the Mission Impossible star's sole concern. He also wanted to urge the AMPTP to support the Guild's position on stunt performers, which is great. Stunt performers don't get enough recognition as well. Cruise also had some words for SAG-AFTRA reps regarding the delicate post-pandemic state of movie theaters. SAG-AFTRA sometimes calls in performers during negotiating sessions to discuss issues in which they have expertise. Any member can request to address a negotiation session and the guild can evaluate the value of having them participate. Apparently, the guild concluded that Cruz's point of view was worthy. It's understood that no other star of his caliber participated in the negotiations in this capacity. Well, that's kind of shitty. SAG-AFTRA had a handful of proposals on the table concerning stunt professionals, including stunt coordinators and stunt performers, which the 160,000 strong union represents. The union also sought to institute more guardrails on the use of generative AI in entertainment in its 2023 talks with studios and streamers, focusing on ensuring that performers give consent and appreciably compensated when their performances are ingested in the technology. Of course, despite Cruz's participation in the talks, after around 5 weeks, the Performers Union and the AMTP failed to come to a deal by Wednesday, which was of course, that. In addition to lobbying studios and streamers on behalf of SAG-AFTRA, Cruz is said to have asked the union to consider allowing actors to promote films during a strike, given the fragile state of movie theaters, and reminding his union that promotion matters to actors too. It felt uncomfortable, said somebody who was actually present right there. This is why I was like, when it came to Mr. Maridueña talking about Blue Beetle and kind of loosely promoting it, but he can't promote it anymore, Cruz has a point here. Cruz has a little bit of a point here. It is kind of weird when it comes to all this, is the fact that it's like they can't say anything. Nobody can say anything, can't promote anything, can't go, can't do anything. I mean, I'm sure some of the actors are like, whoo, they're just sitting down, just like kicking back on their favorite chair, and they're just going to be just like watching TV. But what are you going to watch on TV? Reruns? Apparently. No, but it almost seems like it's like, yeah, can you bend it a little bit when you come to movies that are coming out? It's like promotion, and he brings up a good point. I mean, even though that there are people that are flocking back to the movie theaters, which is great, it's still not where it actually was. And Cruz really wants to keep that experience for people. And I think a lot of actors and filmmakers want to keep that too. And it just kind of sucks that now they can't even promote their movies. So, I mean, it is kind of weird. It would be kind of cool if they could just kind of be like, all right, yes, since the movies were already before the strike, before anything, you're able to promote it because it's already said and done. It's already in the bag. It's already in the can. You could get it out there. But, rules is rules, right? Rules is rules. Ugh. Get out of here. Get out of here. And you know who needs to get the fuck out of here? Bob Iger. Good old Bobby. Good old Bobby Iger, right? Here's what this motherfucker has to say about the strikes.
We're in the midst of a writer's strike, and very likely it would seem to have a actor's strike. How is that going to impact things, and what are your expectations there?
Well, I think it's very disturbing to me. We've
Disturbing.
talked about disruptive forces on this business and all the challenges that we're facing and the recovery from COVID, which is ongoing. It's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. I understand any labor organization's desire to work on the behalf of its members to get the most compensation, to be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute to this great business. We wanted to do the same thing with the writers, and we'd like to do the same thing with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. And they are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing that is, quite frankly, very disruptive.
So they're not being realistic?
They're not being realistic. I don't know about that, Bobby. I think, especially when I saw, it seems like what they want is they want, just about 2-3%. I think it was 2 or 3% of the residuals or whatever the hell. It's just like, it's like, come on, Bob. That's just, you're not looking good. Especially since he extended his contract and he's making another, now he bumped up, I think he was making $24 million a year. Now he's making 27.8% or something like that. It's like, what the hell? And then speaking of that, look at what these mofos freaking make. Look at this. Look at how much they have been making. How much they have been making, like how much they've made in 5 years. David Zaslav, good old Zazzy Pants, he's right up on top. The guy's almost made $500 million in 5 years. Ari Emanuel, I'm not sure exactly who he is, but 346. Reed Hastings, 209. Bob Iger, 195. Ted Sarandos, 192. Woo! The greed. And it's just like, I mean, I get it. I mean, yes, we live in a capitalistic society, which I'm okay with. But in the same time, it's like, all right, when you have people that are getting screwed out of things, and you hear like the stories, you hear about all this kind of stuff. I'm just saying, you got to cut these budgets down. You got to cut these payouts that these CEOs get. You got to cut some of these salaries that some of these actors get. And it just seems like, what's going to end up happening, in my opinion, like I said, I don't know like the full logistics of everything. I'm just kind of just what I just see and hear and whatever the hell. But I'm just saying, it's like, it's just gotten so crazy. It's gotten so crazy. I mean, and yeah, the economy doesn't help too. Like the economy, obviously inflation and everything. And obviously, the economy's been shit ever since the pandemic, pretty much. It's been really big shit. And then, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, the people that are currently running this damn country right now just suck. And hopefully maybe it'll get better. Who knows? But I mean, that adds to it as well. But it just seems like, Jesus Christ, like, how much money do you need? How much do you need? It just seems. And I'm just kind of going like, man, I don't know. But they need to come up with something. But I almost think that this is going to, because what's happening when it comes to independent studios that are not a part of this, they're going to continue making movies. We might see an influx of independent movies that come out of this. Who knows how long it's going to last, but we might see some independent movies that just come out on top when it comes to this, because those studios aren't affected. They have like a waiver thing or something like that that's happening when it comes to independent studios and movies. They can continue filming and go in production. So we might see an influx. I don't know. Who knows? But it's all about how long this goes on. Hopefully it ends soon. And I don't know. I agree with Cruz with the fact that I just wish that actors could still promote their movies that are coming out. That's what I think. I think that should be still the case. But what do I know? I don't know what I'm even talking about. I'm a big dum-dum when it comes to all this. Christopher Nolan, he's been doing some promotion of Oppenheimer. That's right. But we're not going to talk about what he's talked about with Oppenheimer, because we've talked about, the fact that he didn't use CGI and how he got the idea to make this Oppenheimer movie, which was from Robert Pattinson, who gave him a book of Oppenheimer's quotes at the Tenet wrap party and inspired him. And now we're gonna get this art right here, this long movie, probably his longest movie that he's ever made. It's R-rated, which Christopher Nolan doesn't really make. I think Insomnia was his only other R-rated movie. We're gonna get this, and we're gonna get apparently a sex scene, which might be awkward to see on the IMAX screen. I'm just saying, you're sitting in an IMAX theater, you just want to see like big, great cinema, explosions. You want to see cool like cinematography, stuff like that. Apparently, we're gonna also get a extended sex scene, which we're gonna be like, what the hell's going on? Anyways, I already talked about that. We'll talk about probably that a little bit more too when it comes to Wednesday's show, because we're going to talk about the reviews for Oppenheimer. But there's certain things that he was talking about when it came to questions that were being asked, and I got a bullet point from Christopher Nolan, a Christopher Nolan fan Twitter right here. It says several revelations from Christopher Nolan following a new interview from this is from French media. They asked these questions, which were cool, and I'm glad that they asked these questions because just to get into the mind of Christopher Nolan. He's one of my all-time favorite directors. The man is brilliant, but this is what when it comes to the brilliance of Christopher Nolan right here. So he was asked, "Will you make a TV show?" No. Will he make another superhero film? No. That's right, guys. No more superhero films. No more, which I get it. He did his Batman trilogy. It was fantastic. Don't need any more, right? That's it. Now, you never know what could happen in the future. Maybe they'll do some crazy older Christian Bale Batman in the Dark Knight universe, and maybe they'll do some kind of one-off. Who knows where superhero movies are going to be? But right now, the superhero genre is not where Christopher Nolan wants it. It's not where he could thrive. Christopher Nolan is not about this, the crazy fantastical stuff and all this stuff. He did his superhero movie, his superhero trilogy, which is a Batman movie, and he started it, he ended it. They want him to do Superman, but he said nope, but I know a guy, and that man was Zack Snyder. And then when it came to would he ever do a Star Wars film, he declined to answer. Interesting there, Chris. So, you said no about superhero movies. You said no about a TV show. But you declined to answer if you do a Star Wars film. Can you imagine a Christopher Nolan Star Wars film? Kathleen Kennedy probably is like, no. We hire people like Taika Waititi. Okay. And then he was asked, would he still be making films in 10 years? So the Quentin Tarantino question. Because you have Quentin Tarantino who goes, I'm making one more film, it's my 10th film, and that's it. Of course, he's still writing books and plays and everything like that. So he was asked, like, would you retire? Talk about retirement. He's not going to retire. He's going to take more of the Martin Scorsese approach and just keep on freaking making movies. I don't know if he's going to make them as frequently as Martin Scorsese and Ridley Scott, because those guys they just pump out movies. Christopher Nolan takes his time a little bit more. But he also said, too, that he won't be starting to make his next movie until all the strikes are over with, like all the negotiations are over with and people are getting paid. He will never have a TikTok account. Good for him. Good for him. And apparently, too, when it comes to technology, he will have a computer that is not connected to the internet that he writes his scripts on. When it comes to filming, he doesn't have a phone on him. He doesn't have a cell phone. He doesn't have a smartphone. Doesn't have anything like that. And it's not a problem for him that people watch his movies or any movies on their phones or tablets. So even though he's like, with the technology, he's all about the analog technology, he still doesn't mind that people are actually utilizing technology. Like, he's okay with the technology, but he just doesn't use the technology himself, which is totally fine. It's totally great. He even said in another interview that he watches all kinds of movies. He watches the Fast and Furious movies. Doesn't criticize them. He doesn't criticize movies. He takes them in and goes, okay. He does that, which is totally fine. It's a class act. He's a class act. He's a man of, like, he just loves movies. He loves movies. He loves all kinds. And he's not going to sit there and just rip something apart. He's not going to do that. That's not Christopher Nolan's style. Remember what we heard when it came to Justice League. And remember, Zach did not go see the final product of that movie. Debbie and Christopher Nolan went to go watch that. Christopher Nolan told Debbie, Zach should never see this movie. Because he knew. That's Christopher Nolan for you. He's a brilliant man. I think he's a brilliant man. And I can't wait for Oppenheimer. Dude, Daniel, that's what I'm talking about. Nolan and Tarantino Star Wars movies, I'm all about that. I see people still butthurt from the trilogy, and it ended I know, people still like throw shade at his trilogy. I'm like, it's a brilliant trilogy. It's like, I mean, you had Batman Begins, which is probably my favorite origin story of a superhero. Obviously, I'm a Batman fan, but I think it's like the best origin story. You got The Dark Knight, which is just iconic and blew minds too, and it was different from Batman Begins. And then when it came to Dark Knight Rises, yeah, it was a little bit of a mixed bag. You know, it's not my favorite one. It's my least favorite one, but I don't hate it. Still got some good things to it. It definitely does. Yes, Stephanie T, he is the absolute GOAT. But that's what I love about Christopher Nolan. It's like, he's not out there. He's not all about that. And he's not going to just, you know, and he just kind of takes it all in. And he just wants to make his movies. That's why I'm like, he doesn't want to do any more superhero movies. Why would he want to? He already did his superhero trilogy, Batman trilogy, and that really put him on the map because, you know, not a lot of people knew who Christopher Nolan was at first. I mean, I knew he was because Memento is still my absolute favorite movie of his. Even though, like, you know, that was like the movie that he had one other movie, The Following, that came out before, black and white, still a good movie, very indie. And then when it came to Memento, still pretty indie, but that movie just blew me away. Just the storytelling and the structure of that movie is why that's still my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, because it inspired me to make my own stories. That movie just inspires me. That's why I love it so much. That's my favorite movie of Christopher Nolan's. I would say his best is Interstellar. That's his best movie. So there's a difference. My favorite movie, Memento, I think his best movie is Interstellar. Then The Dark Knight. Interstellar is better. Then Inception. And then maybe Memento. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the quality of the film, Interstellar is just, that's an opus. That's space opera. That is 2001. He made his own 2001 A Space Odyssey with that movie. And then The Dark Knight was like, that was just totally magical too. And then Inception is just mind-bending and stuff like that. But my favorite movie is still Memento, but Inception is up there too, because I love that movie as well. But like, yeah, Memento will always just hold that special place in my heart when it comes to that, because there's just something about that movie. Chris should have done Indy 5. Nah, he wouldn't have done Indiana Jones 5. Hell no. There's no way that he would have done Indiana Jones 5. No way. All right, let's get to the final topic, which of course, just the box office. Let's take a look at the box office of the weekend and see what happened. Of course, box office. All right, so of course, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning was the one that came out, the big one that came out. It made $54.7 million. You know, kind of low for domestic. It is pretty low for domestic, but you know, look at that, 155.6 international. So this is probably going to be an international hit. It currently sits at $234.1 million. I mean, obviously, they were probably opening, would be like overall be 300 million, but I think it'll eventually get there. I don't think there's going to be any, but obviously when it comes to all these strikes, it might slow up some things a little bit. But I told you guys how I felt about this movie. I mean, I'm sorry I didn't get to, I try to record my full review on it. I wanted to express more how much this movie is most likely my favorite movie of the year, because it just had everything. It just had everything that I wanted in a Mission Impossible movie and a summer blockbuster. The action, the suspense, the tension, all the spy stuff, the callbacks, because I love this franchise so much. So it all worked for me. But look at the Sound of Freedom. Look at this. Still, it's getting more. It's at 85.8. Look at that. It actually had a plus 38.6. Of course, it did have more theaters because it was limited release. So it did have more. And again, this movie should not be political. There should not be politics involved. When it comes to the story of child trafficking, let's not call it a conspiracy and some kind of right-wing QAnon fucking paranoia movie. It's really happening. So let's not do that. Insidious had a 60.6% drop, which I think we kind of saw that. But still, horror movies are still doing absolutely fantastic. I was reading that this movie was made with $16 million, and look at how much it's made. You do the math on that one. That is supremely profitable. So that's why horror movies are just killing it still. And then, of course, we had another 55.3% drop for Indiana Jones. It crossed 300 million at least. But Elemental has actually found some new steam. Elemental has also crossed 300 million. I mean, it's still not as well as they probably hoped it, but it only had a 9.3 drop this past weekend. So that's actually found a little more life when it comes to that. So, not too shabby. I mean, I thought I was man, I still thought The Flash was going to do better than Elemental. Like, what the hell? But again, The Flash might have some new life when it comes to streaming. Maybe. Who knows? All right. Let's go ahead and get to the Twitter questions now, because I didn't post it on YouTube. We'll see what you guys have to say when it comes to the Twitter. Twitter. All right. Just making sure that there's no naughty business that's happening over there. All right. We got Darren right here. Hey, do you think we will get some Joker 2 or Batman 2 news before the year is out? Yes, we definitely will. I think we'll get a teaser of Joker 2 for sure. And hopefully we'll get some the Batman 2 news. And while watching The Flash, it made me realize how much I still love Keaton's Batman. Amen, man. Amen, brother. I mean, I love his Batman too. He's my second favorite live-action Batman. Miss Jackson. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh. I would love to know if James Gunn has any regrets about running his mouth about his plans before The Flash was released. He's been really quiet on that front. Well, he's not going to talk about the failure of The Flash. Not going to do that for sure, but he talked about how much he loved The Flash. He was really pushing how much it was great and how much he really loved it on many occasions. So I mean, he really was expressing that. So I mean, there was that, but I mean, at the same time, it's just talk about being in like a stupid spot, because it's like you still have 4 movies that were coming out this year, and you're going to announce a whole different slate. And it's like they really tried their best. They really tried their best to be like, hey, you know, we have 4 movies coming out, and he like kind of just like tried to like hype them up a little bit. He didn't hype up Aquaman 2 worth of shit, but yeah, I mean, I don't think he has any regrets, to be honest, because he's probably just too busy working on his stuff right now. But yeah, I mean, that's not, I mean, obviously that was like a decision between him and the higher ups to like, hey, we got to get this out here because guess what? But yeah, it's all a shit show. It really is. Eric, looking at all these big budget movies with awful VFX nowadays, budgets that are completely bloated and just keep getting bigger and keep making it harder for movies to make profit. I gotta ask Dave, how much of that budget goes to that low quality VFX? Makes you think. It needs to go more, I guess. That's what I'm saying. Jamon Watson. On the ongoing writer strike and actor strike, it feels like Hollywood was brought to its knees, and it is a wake-up call in the industry. The corporation needs to pay their writers and actors. Yes, let's cut these CEOs' budget, like their freaking income in half. It's like, god damn, it's just so ridiculous, man. Darkness Under the Wind. Dave, question 1. Do you see Deadpool 3 being better than Multiverse of Madness when it comes to there being lots of potential cameos? Yeah, I mean, I see that being better, but it's going to make fun of the whole multiverse concept. It's Deadpool. Question 2. Can you see these strikes against Hollywood lasting until next year? There's a chance. There is a chance. Question 3. Favorite Deadpool suit? Well, I mean, they all look relatively the same. So, I mean, they all look pretty much the same. They have the same structure. Like, I don't even know what's really the difference too much. I mean, except for this one looks redder. I don't know. They all look pretty much the same. There's not that much of a difference. Mr. Nobody, with the strike in effect, how bad will it affect Blue Beetle? It'll affect it, for sure. That's what we were talking about. Sucks for Sholo and everybody, you know? Also, what's your prediction for its box office? I see it probably. I mean, it could just make like 30 million domestic, maybe. I don't see it doing that much of a splash. But again, it has a lower budget, so it doesn't need to make a huge splash. I get that The Flash wasn't a financial hit, but I thought it did a good job resetting the future projects. However, I'm cautiously optimistic about Clooney. Clooney ain't doing more movies. Don't worry about that. He ain't doing more. Mr. Wooter, hello, Dave. I'm a little frustrated that studios are not paying their actors and writers for giving us good movies. And what is going on with the box office this year? Good movies are not doing well, like Indiana Jones 5 and The Flash, and Mission Impossible 7 did better than those movies opening. So, I mean, I wouldn't put Mission Impossible 7 as in the same opening kind of, as The Flash and Indiana Jones. It's going to end up doing better. I think Mission Impossible 5 has potential to at least cross $500 million. So, yeah, I think a lot of people were just kind of hoping that it was going to be another $1 billion movie like Top Gun Maverick. But I mean, it's different. Top Gun Maverick, we've been waiting for over 30 years for that, and just everything that has to do with that. That was a whole different beast. That was a whole different experience. Mission Impossible 7, I mean, not the same thing. But obviously we're still going to get part 2. I think it's going to be okay, but yeah. I mean, it might be starting to lose its passion. I'm not saying that Dead Reckoning is like the best one of the whole franchise, but it's still, it gave me what I expected and what I was wanting from that movie and from a summer blockbuster. So, how are we feeling out there? Is that midnight PST? What? 175 million worldwide. You think it's going to do 175? Okay. Well, if it's made with like $100 million budget or 120, it needs to make it doesn't even need to make 400 million to be profitable. So if it makes 400 million, it'll be profitable. If it is 100 million, it only needs to make 3 to basically start being profitable. So if it does, so you never know. I'm rooting for it. I'm definitely rooting for it, but we'll see what happens. I'd like to see the red and black suit. Val is the best after Batman. Oh, okay, after Ben. I like Val, but I think Keaton's the one. What's your favorite? You know what? I mean, Daniel, when it comes to Mission Impossible, I still have my heart is still with the first one. So the Brian De Palma, the first one. I think it's just because I watched it so much as a kid. When that came out, I was obsessed with that movie. And I will defend till my dying breath the second one as well. I love the second one. I love that the big time shift to a John Woo action flick with the doves and the slow motion double barreled fucking shooting. I love that. I love Mission Impossible 2 as well. But yeah, I don't know. I still say the first one is probably still my favorite. Now, when it comes to quality and the best one, again, just like what I was saying with the Nolan, like Memento's my favorite, but I would say like Interstellar is like his best one. I would probably say Fallout might have been like the best one, and then Dead Reckoning maybe, and then Rogue Nation. I mean, when it comes to one of my second favorites, probably Ghost Protocol. I really love that one too. And that kind of set the table for the next ones right there. So part 2 might end. Yeah, it might be the end of the series. But Tom Cruise said that he would love to play Ethan Hunt well into his 80s. He wants to do what Harrison Ford's doing with Indiana Jones. I never got the hate for John Woo in this. Yeah, well, people just because it's so different from all the rest of the ones. Like I said, it is more of an action movie. But I mean, it's got Hans Zimmer doing the score. Mission Impossible 2 has Hans Zimmer doing the score. You have Limp Bizkit doing like a rock version of the Mission Impossible theme, which I always got the instrumental. I always listened to the instrumental version because I'm not a big fan of Fred Durst's voice. I know why you want to hate me. Yeah, I liked Limp Bizkit's music. I just never really liked Fred Durst's voice. And he just didn't have a good voice to me. I don't know. That's why I just couldn't really get into it. But I like the music of it. I like the music. The band was playing some good music, but his vocals were just ugh. And when it came to that song, I liked the doom 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 doom. It's really cool. But they released an instrumental version, thank God. And I love that. I just can't with his voice. Now I know why you want to hate me. Ugh. Just not for me. Not for me. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. If I could find the freaking music. There it is. All right. Thank you guys for spending some time with me. I always appreciate it. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm doing this stuff. And become a member if you want to join up with the weekly members-only streams that happen after every Wednesday stream. Do that, or you can support the channel on Patreon and try to post stuff on there as much as possible. But, you know, any support really helps. Really, really helps, guys. And I appreciate everybody who is supporting and helping. But, yeah, follow me on all the sock meds. Everything, you know, trying to post on as much as possible. I'm even on TikTok again. As much as I was like, I didn't want to do it, but I said, you know, why not? Just good on TikTok, so do all that. But all right, guys, we'll see what happens when it comes to all this madness that's happening in Hollywood. But I think we'll be okay. But you know, I'm just kind of thinking, I'm like, all right, well, if we run out of news, I guess we could just talk about past movies or something like that. I don't know. Have discussions about that, but we'll see what happens. But all right, guys, love ya. See you on Wednesday. Talk to you later.